Jamaica, for the most part, is struggling with crime. The government, in its wisdom as it is right now, have taken what I call the executive decision to fight crime within their capacity and their knowledge. So there is a series of extrajudicial killings. If there are 56 days, 56 murders in 57 days, or 55 versus, I'm not calling the wrong statistics. What I can say is the murder rate is alarming. I'm calling it murder, but putting it into context, the unaliving of Jamaican citizens, good or bad, by the hands of whomever, is an alarming process. It's a scary reality, and I am not. I don't pass judgment. I always try to. I listen. I don't judge. I'm not a judge. If you want to see a judge, go to the court. That's where the competence lies when it comes to judgment. The problem is, these days, do they get there? The answer to that is no. They're a part of having a high crime society is finding um, genius ways of solving your issues. For instance, the citizens take part in jungle justice, that should be frowned upon. And the police force takes part in extrajudicial killings, that should be frowned upon. But context does matter, because the police officers are also citizens. So one could never expect, certainly not in this climate, that police officers will leave themselves careless. But the problem is this year and even last year. So I'm going to tell you a story. Um, the gentleman's name, and this is just part one of the conversation that I'm having. The gentleman's name is Denver Needham. Denver Needham is a bus driver in Spanish Town. Denver Needham takes pride being a bus driver. Denver Needham is in his 40s. Denver Needham takes pride in raising his children. Denver Needham has more than one baby mothers. Denver Needham has multiple children. Why am I calling his name? Because on one day, as a bus driver driving his bus, he has a son who has made an application to become a police officer and a serving member of the JCF. Passed his case and is awaiting his call from Twickenham Park. And Denver Needham is a proud father, knowing that his son, who is also a bus driver, is transitioning from bus driver work to become a police officer. The pride of a parent when their child advances. And for those of you who didn't know, there is a certain pride and respect when the general consensus, the reality of the youth in Jamaica is that, you see, some of us, when we leave high school, I want to get the subject them, our brain now fire, like some of the other youth them. So we leave high school and we get three subject, two subject, one subject, no subject. Them quick for kick we out of class, them, and we become marginalized. So we go and do what the MP candidate from Portland Eastern encourages the men to do: rub out your hand miggle. So students, rub out your hand miggle, nothing wrong with it. That's what they say. I say that's not the case. Education is the great divider. Now, here's the reality. When a young man joins the JDF and the JCF, he has the type of ambition and determination and drive and discipline to go through rigorous course of training and to take on the very matters dealt with in the court of law. So when you see a young man is preparing statements, investigating multiple matters, traversing courts to deliver statements and investigate, and when he goes out, everything look like that, and then the law and order music come on, dun, 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 and we're not seeing it like that because all we know is bad boys, what you gonna do, what you gonna do when they come for you. But the seriousness of investigations and where Jamaica needs to be, forensic, scientific, the magnitude and the pressure of being a serving member both in the military and both as a JCF. The level of integrity, the level of internal locus of control, the level of accountability, the discipline, the level of transparency required to hold that post is not to be taken lightly. And so immediately, immediately being cloaked as a man in blue or black or khaki or whatever suit that they decide to put you in, but the badge and the emblem and the stripes that comes with being a law enforcement means that your character and your existence has to be unmatched, but then your salary is not matched. So maybe your salary is unmatched with the level of work that you do. And so herein lies a significant problem. But what I want to really talk about, and again, I apologize for my attire. I'm coming from court, traveling from many places. But more to say that I wasn't able to put my Adidas on to come and put things in context for you. But the matter calls for maybe my attire right now. Now, as I continue to lay the foundation, is to say that the vision that uh, the Jamaica Constabulary Force and even the JDF is to have for the young men who have sacrificed their life to service is to identify is thank you. The information is more important than the attire. I like that one because that Jamaica struggles from that. Um, ain't not like dressing up and your pocket broke, but then want your PP pluck and then anyway, yeah, let me leave that though. Let me leave that one alone. Money guns, yeah, but again, the idea and concept of having serving members be trained, learn about the constitution, learn about the force orders, learn about the Pressy, learn about the Constabulary Force Act, learn about the Justice of the Peace Act, learn about legislation, including the Sexual Offences Act and the Offences Against the Persons Act, and what are the requirements. Learn about the Evidence Act, because you need to do all of this for testifying, collection of evidence, ensuring that you run a tight investigation, and ensuring that no matter what happens, you're not compromised. That is the level of character that it's required. Now, I can tell you, when these young men and women they um, graduate from the police academy, and you see them in court and the uniform blue, cause it not going in no lick the washing machine and the washing pan yet. And the name and the pride the officers feel. Because they feel like they're gonna change the world. And some of them embark on that because they were in cadet, they were disciplined, and some of them very, very bright. But like in everything, there will be persons who slip through the crack because of culture, the society. And what how the government has failed them is that the ones who are bright, they're not sending them off. Almost like I believe that the young ones, 5 years into the force, the very brilliant ones should just have it naturally to go to law school to strengthen the police force with persons who still want to serve as police officers but are attorneys and can take up those posts and be paid accordingly so that they can oversee investigations, they can give legal advice, and just be competent in the field. And if you don't even take it that high, degrees in criminal justice and social work is a place where education you want it to be there. So is Isaac Buchanan condemning the JCF? Never. In fact, I go as far as say that I have many persons in the JCF who I have the greatest amount of respect for. In fact, I think that the current commissioner is far superior than the one previous. I think I am proud that a black man sits at the helm of the JCF, given its history, um, and that has not changed over the years, despite who the deputies are. And I think that culturally, you know, them there is a ensuring that things aren't taken out of context. Because when I said I'm proud that a black man sits there, is to say that one would feel that, oh, we always gonna need somebody from Scotland Yard or from MI6 or the FBI to come and take over, and they must have blonde hair and blue eyes, and they are the ones who will liberate us out of crime. But the Maroons can tell you, or should I say, the British are coming. They can tell you that they couldn't take on the Maroons and had to sign a treaty that although this government wants to ignore it, we know the superiority of knowing your terrain and knowing who you're combating. What cannot be done, however, is a PR campaign and slackness. They don't go together. Because of transparency and accountability and integrity, respect for human life, the oath to protect and serve, there is a necessary need to address what I consider to be very concerning. Going back to Denver Needham, because I have set out for the masses who are watching today why it is there's an expectation and the pride parents feel when their children are officers and when their children are doing something um, meaningful with their lives. And I can tell you, if we lived in a country where the police officers were paid commensurate to the work that they did, we would be having conversations about how much years now me make an application for join the JCF and then no one let me in. Because the best of the best would be the starting point, and we would be having another conversation. But like everything, the teaching profession, medical profession, public sector, at every level except the parliament, um, persons are not being paid, and as such are very disgruntled, and they, because you get what you pay for, quoting the prime minister, um, a lot of time there's a breakdown. So Denver Needle on one fine day drives his bus into the Spanish Town bus park. His son is in the bar getting box food, and an officer comes up and says, this bus for move. They call the son, and the son says, where I take set for me for? And he moves the bus, and the officer come back and said the bus no move properly. Anyway, the officer, and this is on tape, why I'm talking about the tape. The officer chuck him in him face and him box off him hand and say, what you do? What me do? And the officer takes out his gun and shoot him in him belly. All this while Denver Needham is in his bus, looking, not interfering. When he saw his son get shot in the belly and the officer raises the gun to again shoot him in the head, the father jumps out of the car and has a one of them. I know machete that. That's the one, the one where you chop coconut with. When the jelly coconut man have it and him go, fashing, wing, 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 and everything just chop clean. And let me tell you something. Denver Needham say, you gonna kill my picnic. And the officer look upon him like, idiot, you gonna watch your son dead today. And Denver just, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. No, that's He-Man. No, he was like, thunder, thunder, thundercats. And him run and him go, ho, and go so, fishing. And him chop the police officer. Him give him, let me tell you something. Let me see the video. Him give him one proper chop. Proper chop. Me say when him chop the police, me I watch the video, me say, him chop the police. And you know when, I don't know, if you grew up with brothers and sisters, so I have a big brother named Peter, aka Mr. 799. Me can't even make a joke there again, because me tell you this. Last Saturday we the fundraiser for Portland Eastern for the tablet drive. For about a month now, I've been telling everybody, I said, come to the auction and buy me. Auction me. I put my good, nice, clean self up on the auction block. And them say, anybody who's starting the bid? Not 1 red cent. Not even $1. Nobody buy me. After my brother did them, I say, wait, auction me first. And then they can buy him for $7.99. They never ever spend $1 on me. If my brother, Zambo, wasn't there, who drop a 50 on me, I'm going to drop a 50 on him. Oh, God, man. That's why family important, you know. 'Cause at least my brother said, me, I lick a 50 pack, I'm me good. And life is over. But anyway, you see how my ADD just kick in? Anyway, back to reality. Chop him. But I was saying, if you grow up with siblings, here's what I can tell you about it. It's not even stocky. Like you play last lick, and you run in with the coward lick, and you go and run off, just in case of the belt no lick your one of them there. So him give him one of them there. Quick chop and run. I'm saying run like how Tina Turner did with a run from Ike. And him run out of the bus park. And them did put out, oh, we're looking for Denver Needham, him trying murder a police officer and this, and him want to turn himself in, blah, blah, blah. All of that. So, quick. Him have a nice girlfriend, blonde hair, can't call her name. Let's call her legally blonde. Let's call her that. Because I'm not put them business out there. And them will call this and this. And she says, no, we want ISAT. And I'm going to find him. And she called me and she sound like Tina. She says, my name is Legally Blonde. I don't have no money, but they got my man locked up. I don't want them to kill him, but only you can save him. I say, only me? I say, well, I'm to the big lawyer them. She said, what about idiot? Just you. And she boosts me up, She boosts me up and she said, I'm paying you my last dollar. And I'm going to pay you because they have to free my man. I say, all right, but she made me feel like a big lawyer because she said, me she want. Anyway, I pull up to the station. We do the question and answer. We do all of that, blah, blah, blah. We go to the court, get him bail. Everybody frightened because them said the man chop a police officer. But just remember this, his son died. Police respectfully murdered his son. Why am I telling this story? Well, the statement of the police officer is that he was doing his routine traffic duties and a bus was illegally parked. He instructed the man to move it, and the man became boisterous and hit him first. He stepped back, and there was a crowd coming at him, and he said, "For your safety and mine, back away, back up." And nobody listens. And he says, "For your safety and mine, back up now." And then he was forced to shoot him because the crowd attacked. Well, me knowing and checking the crime scene and all of that, realized that there is video. So me with my nice clean self, contact, yeah, Indicom have the video, get the video, look at the video, check it, and nowhere in the video you hear "for your safety and mine, back up." In fact, he was at all material times the aggressor, and the man had Denver had to stand up and watch this officer murder his son. And him did give him a chop, the chop of his life. Yeah. Now, why am I telling you this story? Because the officer testified in a trial in an effort to send Denver Needham to prison for grievous bodily harm, the wounding with intent, which carries 15 years, and him could have get, based on the chop and all of that, he probably would have spent 22 years in prison for that act, the act of attempting to save his son. And so, naturally, the law requires self-defense. And self-defense is for yourself, another, or property. Now, don't take it lightly. It means that when the police says a shootout ensues, the police have a right to defend themselves. No questions asked. And so you must appreciate when the commissioner of police says, "My officers who are superiorly trained than you gunmen that think we're not bad," you're gonna lose, because we're not burying any police officer, quoting, paraphrasing the commissioner. And he believes in the young men and women that he trains, and believes that they wouldn't lie to him. He believes that if they tell him there was a shootout, that they're not lying. He believes that when Indicom asks for information and they put people on desk duties and all of that, they are telling the truth. Because one of the perks of wearing that blue uniform is that you're an honest, upstanding person with integrity, right? And that you would never run afoul of the law. No, you know that officer I told you about with Denver Needham? After Denver Needham, of course, we had the trial, and I showed the video and showed the jury that he was a liar. Showed the jury and introduced them into the knowledge of what self-defense is, and that if somebody is murdering your child, whether it is police or not, you have a right to defend yourself and your family. Not suggesting that you must get up and bear arms illegal and this and turn Jamaica into a one big passa. No, we're not saying that. What I'm saying is life is something given to us without knowing we are to receive it. Because we only have one life, we are to respect it. Enshrined in the Constitution of Jamaica is the right to life. Enshrined is also your liberty must not be taken away from you except from a court of law, nor your life. So that even in circumstances where a criminal, a suspected criminal, somebody in circumstances that requires adjudication before a jury of your peers have done conduct, it must be ventilated right to the highest court because you never know. People can be wrong. Evidence can be tampered with. It's not court is not an emotional um roller coaster. It's an evidentiary um exercise grounded in law and fact driven. So for the court that is known as social media with a lot of emotional empty barrels and persons with improper expertise can influence, that's why they call them influencers, can influence the public in such a way that it becomes concerning. And sometimes it creeps into the judicial space, and a judge becomes constrained to keep people incarcerated for their safety. The judges aren't wicked, But can you imagine? And I'm just going to say it because I'm driving home thinking I'm late. I didn't break any traffic lights. I didn't speed. I just said if I make it home on time, I will have this. Context matters. But the guy's name, I think, is Roshane Clark. I think he killed Thickiana. I think she's the this very beautiful girl that died in Montego Bay by strangulation. But I saw that they put out a profile of the guy and said that he was a scammer. He was charged for assault. He was charged for attempted murder. He did a lot of things, but he had an encounter with the police. What I can say is evidentially, he's before the court for the murder of the young lady, Roshan Pattison. Boy, if Roshan Clark ever hear me, I'm gonna him good have vex. But yeah, Roshan Clark, then Roshane Clark or Roshan Clark is an officer who went all the way to the Privy Council. His conviction was quashed. I could be wrong, but it's a lot of names. And right now, ought to be a free man, but he was sent for retrial. And I just think that where delay is concerned, the ball or the bell has been dropped for that, or the ball dropped for that, and he should not be in prison. So thank you for that, Roshan Patterson. Now, I've seen the profile put out by the JCF, and the JCF is putting out the profile, and the dead man cannot respond, nor I wouldn't advise his family to respond to that. But you would need to put out a profile of somebody who you had a alleged shootout with that Indicom is investigating and no conclusion drawn. You don't have to have a media campaign on that, because a simple solution would have been if the officers had on the body cam and engaged the man, and he did actually have a gun, which is quite I'm in no position to make any comments on it, but to say that he's on bail for possibly strangling the beautiful young lady who is a social media and a very beautiful, one of Jamaica's finest. May her soul rest in peace. But to hear that he was in a shootout while on bail, um, the body cam would be very helpful. Now, there is a voice note that I received this morning that from a young lady, and it weighed heavily on my heart. I've decided not to share it, save and accept that she's in her house. The newspaper, and the newspaper also is these days the state media takes one side of a story and plaster it, and the investigative journalism is taking another direction, because it's a report that the man was. I'm gonna just share the story. Um, just bear with me. So, all right, here we go. Man fatally shot during police operation. This took place on the 26th of February. Man fatally shot during police operation. And it says, yeah, he's during police operation. And it says, in Manchester, a man was fatally shot by the police during an alleged confrontation in Mollison District, Christiana, Manchester on Wednesday. All right. If you're like me, it's just one of the 56 persons. But then I have a case on my file that I wrote to the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, the Commissioner of Police, the Member of Parliament for Western or West Rural St. Andrew. Because the young man who was murdered was I'm going to say his name. And these things I'm doing that because statistics is always problematic for me because human life is not just a statistics. So 57 persons unalived through extrajudicial killings, 56. Yeah. Um Yeah, see, Marie says they were following him and went to his home before daylight and killed him. But here's this now, and why it is important that the court is the proper umpire of fairness. In the Bible, two women goes before the king about a child. They both take claim to the child, and the king says, "You know what? I'm going to just cut the child in half." And the mother of the child said, I would soon not have this child, but you're not going to kill the child. And she left. She was willing to give up the child. And it was the adjudication of the king to say that only a mother's love would do that. Now, an empty barrel who would lay claim to something that don't belong to them, don't know the value of something. It's the value we're talking about. So hear this. The young man is called Andrew Richards, and he is from Judith Cuthberg Flynn. Um, Juliet Cuthberg Flynn constituency, Western Rural St. Andrew. And yes, I wrote to him a call for justice for accountability. And the commissioner's police has promised to respond and give me the necessary information for us to get to the bottom of his killing. But Inicom went to the house, and you see the pillow that they used to put over the young man and the bullet holes in the pillow. And that was said that there was a shootout, but there's an investigation and there is a process. And the family of Andrew Richards, the males in the family is emasculated by the way he was murdered in the night, allegedly, unalived. Let me use that's now the politically correct word to use. And I listened to the family and the girlfriend's trauma, and to watch what the media has done to Andrew Richards in putting out a profile that is not him. And I can tell you, because I'm familiar with social media, I am the dunce lawyer. I am um the man who was tricking cartel because he could not come out. And I am I'm the subject of several videos of a million bloggers who were telling me to shut up and not advocate because I was a stupid lawyer. That's the same social media that when you prove them wrong, right? Or who's you well social media when he's free, and they had a thing because they didn't know what quash was, said it was squash. Squash is now in Florida on gun charges. So they were mixing up the Privy Council, quashing a conviction with squash the artists, clearly. But when they said these things, people would believe. And there are many things that people will say about you that social media can be the engine for people to believe. I saw recently. I just came home on the 7 o'clock news and I saw the husband of the candidate that is my opponent saying that I am responsible for the conduct of grown people, the conduct to which people told the truth. One, the SSL property is owned by his daughter in law. That's a fact. Property was transferred in 2023. That's a fact. The young lady has his last name. That's a fact. And then there are letters going out with defamation, saying that people should apologize for defamation with my name. And let me tell you something: when people misspell your name, it is a clear indication that they don't respect you, especially when it's people who are assumed to have gone through the education system. When your name is misspelled, it's not a typo. It is a code for saying I don't respect you enough to check your name. But anyway, I use this to say when the media puts out information, and I can tell you, I am the least among my siblings. I want you to know this. In my family, I'm the worst picnic that my mama have. Make no mistake. My brothers and sisters, respectable to the core. It's difficult navigate and compete against the blessed vagina through which I came on earth and the siblings before and after me. But when you hear people talk about me, my brother and sister, they have to say, is where you do, brother, because it cannot be the same person. And so it's easy to put out narratives on people. But life, court, justice, a judicial system run and guided by a constitution, it remains. It's an evidential system, and one not dead, not dash way. So while it is that there are people here, um, there are people who have their emotional trauma that they're dealing with in their sometimes meaningless existence. And I saw the vitriol that was spit out towards a Vibes Cartel and how people felt about him and speak about conduct that was not before the court and could not appreciate that due process, and it's up there, is paramount. It's a constitutional right that deals with fair trial, a fair hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial jury. And there is no compromise to that. So, whenever somebody is unalived and not go to the court, and you go on the media and you try the case. So, Roshan Patterson, don't know the man, I don't represent the man, but he's before the court about strangling. Nothing in his profile that caused when a judge of competent jurisdiction awarded him bail did not see look like the battery from that dead, eh? See how this work now. Yeah, did not see um the threat that the officers are now painting and showing a rap sheet of possible crimes that he was never convicted for. And in instances where persons like myself, who previously was convicted, have their records expunged, it's also against the law to be rehashing these things. And so, if it is true that what no dead no dash way, I mean, just look at it. One of the flagship carriers of dancehall right now and most important artists to the Jamaican space and the world at large, Simon Billboard, is Vibes Cartel. Save the economy in December last year. Do that and beat him. Yeah? But when you murder somebody and don't give them due process, even if they're accused of murder, you must prove it. If the decision to fight crime is to say, we have intelligence, and so I'm using that intelligence to unalive people. Not the conversation is we were ambushed and react in self-defense. We create a dangerous situation and then murder is committed. That is not the envisioned Jamaica Constabulary Force, because I know officers, them wouldn't even take a sweetie from you. You can't pay them for no write a ticket. You can't ask them for tell lie for you. Them now sign no document for you, cause them now put them reputation at hand. There are majority of the members in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. A large majority, yeah, are upstanding citizens, uncompromised, notwithstanding the measly, disrespectful salary that they get. And so we don't paint with a broad brush. Never. And I can only say that when we are having the conversation, we are having it in the context that the simple solution when faced with this, because the commissioner of police, respectfully putting it in context, he is not wrong, because he knows that it is an evidential reality. So if his officers say that they were ambushed or they went into a shootout, unless the evidence shows otherwise, he is bound to believe them because he trained them. Right? He trained them. Go and cook for me to Donna Thompson. Yeah. So when we deal with that reality, we are now in a situation where it says an Indicom is to do their job. And let me tell you something. I love Cuss Indicom. In fact, culturally, you are not Jamaican if you know find things to cuss about. You can't be Jamaican if you don't accentuate the negative. And when the positive happen, you say, cha. Because, like, for instance, government, you're supposed to fix road. Ain't nobody patting you on the back for that. You think people can have hype car and a drive on Jugu Jugu Road? Fix it, you servant. You helper, gardener, you. Go and fix the road. Yeah? That is it. That's your job. I'm not rewarding you for that. So when I see some of you on the rollers and in the pressing out the road, good work, you construction worker, you. Go on, you for mix the cement too and give us some good road. Because that way I pay you for. Someone I get millions and can't read and write. So go and go do the work. And you for go out there and get burned up in the sun. Not just when you're not campaign. And don't be dishonest about it. Don't fix this much road and then angle the camera and say, yeah, do work. It's a wicked. That's just my thing. So we're not rewarding you for that. And then let's talk about water solutions. In Portland Eastern, the MP candidate, she sells the water. Sells the water. At least sell it allegedly to the PNP people because them have to buy it. They'll not get it free. But we see that the whole island under drought and the waterman decide to allocate $150 million to truck water into the place because there's a drought. Well, Portland Eastern is one of them. And obviously, because the MPs down there not doing nothing but selling the water. So they have to give away water down there. And I can tell you this, the Rio Grande is there and it ever full. Water, streams, water, valley water is in there any given day, just not in the pipe. Because if it's in the pipe, then can't have them water business. And the truck with the faces of the MP candidate on it won't make no money. So why am I saying this? Because Portland doesn't have a drought. It just doesn't have a water solution because competent people are not in the space to deal with the water solution. But they have $150 million of taxpayers' money going to selectively give water to a certain class of people. Usually they're the voting population. It is respectfully a part of the goodie basket. Right? So as they take the water from the people in Portland Eastern, then comes the government to say, oh, we're gonna help you. But just learn this. A part of oppression is to take away your food and then give you some and you feel like a little relief has come. But what freedom looks like is the water, like pure water. You see it behind me? Pure water has been the saving grace. And although Justice Panton is gone, I did learn one thing from him with the Integrity Commission debacle. Carry your own water and ensure that it is pure. Because if you drink the water from some of the people, you might find you wake up and your integrity is gone because people who don't have accountability, transparency, integrity, yeah, people who don't have these attributes cannot say they have any moral authority to do anything in the name of the Jamaican people. So, when people take from you and when people abuse you, and murdering people is abusing them, unaliving them is abusing them. It's one life we have. And dead man don't tell no tale. And so while you create narratives on people after and narratives after the fact is very, very, very unfortunate. And remember in America, the police unalive George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement came into reality. So is it that Jamaica needs a Jamaican Lives Matter? Or because I can't even say we have to call it a bad man lives matter. All right? We can't say that. Somebody said, please remember Miss Valerie Nita Robertson. Well, I am in her chambers and I can tell you a story real quick so people can understand something. Miss Valerie Nita Robertson saved my life in 2023. This is not a secret. The Queen's Counsel, as she then was, King's Counsel. Yes, King's Counsel. Can't remember when the Queen did. But the King's Counsel intervened when I was at a particular office and they threw me out of the office and I am a properly rent with option to buy tenant. And I made a statement and quoted cartel and the people who own the place were of a particular political persuasion and they used it to destroy my legal career. And Valerie, like a mother, like she always would, said, not on my watch. And I'm in her chambers, protected by her silk. And I thank God that the other women, senior attorneys as well, in that space is of her ilk. And so as her clients and all the people whose lives that she has touched struggle to come to terms with, Jamaica don't know what they lost, And oftentimes that's the value We don't know the value of life, so we don't know the importance of the people that we lose. Especially even in her circumstances, an untimely death, even though the Bible said 70 years and 10, and she was at 70 years and 10 and 1. But I can tell you, I'm left with the fact that every ounce of encouragement that it's a tape, always a tape. Every encouragement that she has given to me has propelled me to be one step greater. And then my father decided that he's gonna name me Isaac, which is the great one, and put me under this extreme pressure to walk into to greatness. Well, I can tell you, King's Counsel, Miss Valerie Nita, has been my saving grace. I that's the most I can say. But to know that we grieve differently, and I will just put that out because yeah, I know for sure that for those who were blessed to know her, um, and for the people of West Portland who lost the opportunity to have her as their member of parliament to liberate them from the type of oppression that they're even now under. I will say that when I say God on time, I know that God know what He's doing, and I'm happy that even in my conversations, because when they were prepared to kill me at the General Legal Council down in their dungeon, she was there to represent me. And the killing that I'm speaking of is a mental one, a legal one, a spiritual one. But she stood with me. And um, we walked out of there and she says, fight. And I fought. And I was still able to go and stand before the Privy Council and give to the people, the Jamaican people, what they wanted, which was their artist to revive dancehall. And she passed the baton because she was previously the attorney for Vibes Cartel. So when people think that you do things alone, there are some senior people out there that I'm telling you, the juniors will never understand and appreciate how it is and how it's important to be guided by seniors. So while they are alive, always respect them because you never know the day and the hour. And we are, like I said, we spend too much time being negative. So I'm just taking the opportunity, as the comment section asked me to speak on it. I would need an entire show to tell you about. She's the best cross examiner in Jamaica. Other attorneys not gonna um, like that I said that, but when you watch her and her cross examination skills, you know why she is King's Counsel. But here we are. It is ironic that the best attorneys in Jamaica are the female ones. I think because they have to work twice as harder to do what they have to do. And it's ironic. Somebody said the DPP said that. I saw they learned a DPP last week doing cross examination. It is rarely a thing that the DPP does, given the way how the trial system works in Jamaica. You rarely have defendants. They usually give statements from the doc and then character references, but you never have a robust cross examination by prosecution. It happens, but rarely. And the DPP was cross examining a young lady, and it's the art. If you love the law and excited about the law, you would appreciate what it was. And I was like, you know what? the learned DPP, Miss Paula Llewellyn, she's in her element. And I was exchanging word with her, and she says, "Not right now, I'm working." She was doing her work. But if you appreciate that, you know what it means when you watch them working. Miss Carolyn Reed Cameron versus Valerie Nita Robertson in the Huey Gowdy trial. Let me tell you something. These things must be on Netflix so they can know um, what you are missing when you have the niceness reported by people who don't understand the law. Seeing it and appreciating it with the type with a, a legal mind and the competence that goes with it to know the points. And it's like people who watch tennis and they know the backhand stroke and the forehand and they know the styles and the double backhand. If you don't know the sport, you can't appreciate it. So when I see people passionate about football, when I see people passionate about cricket, and when I see people passionate about the things they are competent with, it's kind of like how the finance minister now trying to find her footing after being placed in a ministry that she had no competence and looked like a real dunce in the Ministry of Education. It wasn't her element, so she looked as silly as the Minister of Security, a heart surgeon, a heart doctor, trying to fight crime. Don't have a clue. Anyway, so that being said, leaving it at that, but to say that sleep in eternal greatness, King's Counsel, because your absence will never go unnoticed in life. I'm looking forward to see how the government of Jamaica um, honors a great attorney such as Nita Robertson. No, no. Having said that, all I'm going to say in relation to the issue that we're speaking about, murder, is, the killing of a human in rerum, la la la, in the king's peace, um, with malice aforethought. In Jamaica, it still remains a year and a day, or committing grievous bodily harm, the intention to do so. Dr. Matthews would be so proud. Um, Roxanne said I should do a behind the scenes of the legal system documentary for Netflix. Boy, whew, I don't think Jamaica is ready to air their dirty laundry like that. If that case that went to the Privy Council there just last year is any indication of that, we still have work to do. But yeah, we will see. Well, that's a good idea. But again, Lexi over there laughing. Um, just want to share to say that we have to stop and think. If we want to move forward in a society that has respect for human life, respect for human dignity, has retrain, rethink the way we deal with the citizens of our country, then the current state of the crime in Jamaica, which is statistics driven, respectfully ought to be rejected. We must get to preventative measures that don't involve reactive killing, reactive unaliving. I'm not calling it extrajudicial killings because the police must defend themselves from ambush. Bad man in Jamaica cannot feel like they have the authority to take up guns and unalive citizens either. So how do you strike the balance? And I pray that the young men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force don't find themselves at the end of investigations before the court for murder, because they will be cast aside and lives turned upside down with very little leniency. There are videos out there, and the young lady that I told you about, and I read the article, different from the Andrew Richards. This young man that I told you about earlier, let me get back to it. Um, the young man, did they even say his name? Let me check. Let me just see it. Oh, they just have his name. They didn't put his name. Oh yeah, the man is Ronald Evans. And Ronald Evans is a man that moved into the community somewhere in Manchester, had one child and end up having two. The recount of the baby mother that says early in the morning, like a thief in the night, they came and knocked on the door. They came into their space like how they invaded the house of Rosalie and videoed her. Well, they came into his space. And you see the irony? They used their cell phones and videoed Rosalie. But then they're saying that body worn cams, they don't need it. But the police walk up and down with their phones. Well, anyway, this Evans man was had his children, had the baby. They tell him step out. The woman walks out, and they tell him to stay in the house. Then he stays in the house. This is the account of the woman. And she runs back in and said, "What are you doing?" And he's on the ground and he said, "Don't leave me, babes." Hold on to her leg, crying like a child. And they pull her out of the house and close the door and shoot him two times. One of the, right in the face. So I guess the morgue will have work to do to reconstruct the face for his burial. But simultaneously, there were a part of the team, according to her account, where they fired shots in the air and then the man picked up the spent shells. Now, the pain could let you hear I could let you hear it, but I'm not hearing the I don't think it's my place to have people relive that. And I would prefer if I interviewed her and then play it to give context to it. Otherwise, I heard it and I was disturbed. And I was disturbed because Andrew Richards was in his house with his girlfriend. And they came into the house and they said they're looking for guns. There are no guns. And they tell her, "Come to the kitchen and help us look." And told him to stay there, put the pillow over him, and shoots him. Yeah. And then that was said to be a shootout as well. And so, if that sounds like a lie, well, the same media reported that some men in central Kingston had a shootout with the police and gunfire ensued and they were murdered. Then it so happened that there was video camera on the premises and the police put the two men on their knees and executed them. Those police officers have since been charged. But remember, it's 57 or 56. The law of averages says that in that there will be justifiable killings. So even the right to life, there is a breach of the constitutional right to life, but it is demonstrable where it is demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society, that right is extinguished. It's not absolute. Similarly, self-defense is a mechanism open to all, including police officers. And I will say the law on self-defense is has been definitely rectified in Beckford and the Queen. That went all the way to the Privy Council. But Palmer and the Queen speaks about excessive force. And then there is a case called the Rex or Regina against Clegg, where a security border patrol officer shot at a car after it crossed the border, shot into the car and killed a young lady. And the Privy Council says murder is murder and there is no lesser offense just because somebody is a law enforcement officer. And so I just urge, this is not a critique, but to say that the men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, please, the power is in your hand. Let no superior put you in a position to compromise your freedom, put you in a position to compromise um, or put you in a position to breach the right to life. There is another way. I believe that body worn cameras can vindicate police conduct. Because certainly in the Evans matter, they took all the devices from, they took all the devices. I'm going to show it as soon as I come off of here, please. No, no, not there. And I'm live. I'll soon show it to you. Yeah. And I just think that in light of that, we ought to have a little bit a different conversation because there has to be vindication so that people can continue to um, maintain the respect and the trust that the police have been they've been getting a lot of lately, and it's respect through love is much more palatable than respect through fear. And so I just really want to share that with you guys and to say that whilst it is that we have to strike the balance, right? Yes. While it is that we have to strike the balance, we must do so with respect for human life, human dignity. Um, and it says, I am muted. I am muted. But I don't mute. Hello? I am muted. No, I'm hearing myself. Oh, okay, okay. Very well. Yeah. And so once we appreciate that aspect of it, I think that we we can have a little bit more understanding of why it is important that matters no matter how. There's a Tremington on the Queen. I want to say that's the name of the case about identifying. The Privy Council speaks about the worst of the worst. So even where a man commits murder and massacres 14, 15, 20 people and he's brought before the court, it is not until that trial before a jury of his peers takes place and he is found guilty and his appeals are exhausted and the Privy Council says no. And if him really bombocious and ambition, him take it to the international court and they say no, then the process has worked and the people serve their time. And in prison, where there is supposed to be rehabilitation, people can change. Let us not forget that Moses committed murder. David committed murder. Let us not forget that. And God oftentimes use the strangest, because Saul was a persecutor of the Christians. So he was doing extrajudicial killings and he was struck down on the road to Damascus and he became an advocate. And he wrote letters as Paul, and he might change his name, you know. If he was ever in a Jamaica, Pika would have said, hold on, you have two passports, Saul and Paul, and lock him up. You might have to find a $50,000 if you have two passports. Both him name Paul and Saul. But God changed him name. Yeah, him certainly would have identity fraud. But anyway, point I'm making is that there has to be some balance, and in that balance there's not an outcry of, oh, the police are kill off everybody and it need to stop. That's not the conclusion, because nobody should can celebrate when gunman kill police, and nobody should be celebrating when police kill gunman in circumstances where all that is required is to bring people before the court. Simone Sawyer say, so I'll do a deed poll. Deed poll never them out them time there. You can't tell me that. So for me, it is important. And see, Karen, I can't say that the police officers are to be charged for murder, because they too are allowed to have due process before and adjudicated in a court where necessary. But I can tell you this, even though I don't know what came first, the chicken or egg. All I know is egg is more palatable at breakfast time than chicken, until I realized that stewed chicken for breakfast is much, much nicer than fried chicken. So I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. Somebody said his actual time is Saul Paul, but he dropped off Saul and used Paul. He hates Christians to a level, but God, a wonderful of Andrew Saul. He said, I wonder if Andrew Saul, boy. Well, all I can say is this. I'm here walking in divine purpose, so the egg come first. The truth is, we don't know. Yeah, chicken for breakfast. See? But let's not have a chicken conversation. Next thing we're gonna get hungry. I'm gonna have at least what is that? 51 minutes to go or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So 41 minutes. Yeah. So what we have to do in terms of striking the balance is really have the conversations, whether we are in a position to have body worn cameras. I know they have it in traffic court, and the police officers are turning it off when they want and turn it on when they feel like. But certainly in America, a lot of the cases where the officers are charged or taken off duties and prosecuted is because the account they give in the statements has been different from the body cam. Similarly, like I tell you, the law of averages, if 10 people go out on an operation while nine of them are prepared to turn off their body cameras, at least one of them may not do so. Or three of them are corrupted in a cadre of of 10, and seven of them may have footage that's helpful. I don't know. But what I'm saying is I am putting to the public that majority of the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force are above board. If there ever was to be a a community outreach to reintroduce the JCF to the people of Jamaica, you would see that. And similarly, I also think that it is for the Jamaica Constabulary Force to internally, through the eye probe, actively and preventatively investigate their officers, and make effort to remove those who simply aren't of the ilk to be an officer. I think that that's something to think about, but I could be wrong. Um, but what I do know is it takes a lot of mature consideration and thinking to think about what we expect, because it's the same thing. I sympathize with persons who have to be forced to um, defend persons who lack integrity, because it also reduces their integrity. Um, and I can't take it any higher than that. But to say that the people of Jamaica remain the most important factor and force in Jamaica, the people. And so, if we want Jamaica to be a better Jamaica, we have to have critical thinking, rational thinking. We have to think about what is the object and purpose of our existence. Because when we murder people, we lose the opportunity for those persons to be the best versions of themselves and contribute to what I think is the most awesome place on earth to live. That is Jamaica. I can't take it any higher than that, but to say that where context matters, no, you should always meet the judge. And I can't think of other circumstances other than self-defense that a man should meet his maker and lose the right to due process. I just can't. And don't get me wrong, we have to put it in context. Because I'm a defense attorney, naturally, um, my position is going to be that persons ought to be brought before the court, charged, prosecuted, and the chips fall where they may. In the middle of that, we can have conversations about strengthening evidence collection, community participation, all the things that come with intimidation and everything that we hear about, and gang violence, and all the things that are said, and is not wrong for saying it. But if we are, as a developing country, to get to where, but I'm gonna tell you, when you go to England, you have officers who don't carry gun. When you're in England, you don't have gun crimes, you have knife crimes. And I think that when somebody hurts somebody with a knife, them really, really want to do it. And then witness protection is also problematic, because you put somebody in witness protection, but what do you do when that person is compromised? And there's always this thing about fear. I mean, even now, you'd be surprised the type of bad man behavior and badmanism that is taking place, and intimidation, and just no respect for the law. No, even no respect for the law for those who uphold the law, or have been sworn to uphold the law. No respect for the law from persons who are to be role models to people. And we're just to put things in context. And I think that, having said that, persons can email me, persons can message me. My number is public. To have conversations about what due process really looks like, what fair trial looks like, and why are Jamaicans so fixated on murder when murder is such a final act? And why do we think, why is the aggression and the frustration and anger so much? Why is it that why is it that as we go into to somebody say, I can tell you something about some police officers. Yeah, why is this power? Why is there this need to be unnecessarily disrespectful? Why is there a need to, and then, why is there a need to use your office to carry out your personal lives? And somebody says, I said, how you feel about body cam? I think everybody knows how I feel about technology. I think body cams are important. I think that um in this modern age, I think that even the citizens should make effort. One of the best things that has ever happened to motor vehicles is having the ability to have dash cams, front and back, and it's audio, because you'll be driving and somebody cut you off and then say, "You're running on my back, you're a wicked," and take it to the insurance company and go through a whole trial and say that you're wrong, because people lack honesty, integrity, accountability, transparency. Just hear me out now. And so in these days, you need that recording ability, because people just unnecessarily lie. So I do object, because I think that if it is that you are to be upstanding even where no one is watching, it goes to show. Because for one, let's use the parliamentarians for example, and the senators. They're to sign a code of conduct, and the Jamaica Labour Party decides none of them is going to sign it. Now, if you have integrity and transparency and all of that, you don't need law to regulate you. You just simply sign it, because you know that you're not going to run afoul of the law. The only time there's a problem, it's almost like when you draft in a contract and it says, you're to do this, do that, and then they put some things in it that you don't even care. You don't even need a lawyer to tell you don't need to put it there, because you're not even gonna foresee ever breaching some of those things. So for me, I just believe that that's that. Now, to the people of Jamaica, and Ishmael is prompting me to respond to this. On the 9th of March, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Ralph Gonsalves, and his beautiful wife, the First Lady of St. Vincent, along with his ministers and securities, are coming to Portland Eastern in Jamaica on March 9th. And we are bringing the heat. What is the heat? Health, education, agriculture, and tourism. In all of that is to push forward, enhance economic growth for now and the future and beyond. We're having conversations about how to deal with water solutions that don't include trucking water in 2025. Mind you, the people need it, and that's why you have to do it. But if the MP was turning off the water and taking us back to the Flintstone age, yabba dabba doing, um, ironic, underwater, right? Then we wouldn't have that conversation. We would need to have conversations about that. If the roads were constantly being upgraded, and road solutions, for instance, if you go into Portland, you immediately realize, because it's a wetland, when thinking about doing roads in Portland, you have to think about concrete roads reminiscent of those found in Fern Gully. Yes, just these things. So why Ralph Gonzalez? Why the honorable 5-star general? 6-star, goodly 7, because Ralph, as long as he's alive, he'll be the prime minister. Because here's what prime ministers great as Ralph do: free education, free healthcare. These are things that Michael Manley brought to Jamaica, so that the very people who are now disenfranchising you are stopping you from getting that. Like, for instance, when the PNP in power, there was road infrastructure legislation that was terminated by this government. Like when the People's National Party under Peter Phillips and Portia Simpson said, "Hey, SSL, we rebuke you in the name of Jesus, on our thief." And in comes the JLP. lift up all embargoes and all restrictions and say you're free to teach. Yeah? That is the conversations we need to have. In Jamaica, as I am talking to you, in Portland Eastern, Sanko Beach, Kern might be upon the live somewhere. Sanko Beach. Them take that from them last week. And I'm saying, I really need to have a conversation with Mr. Smart because I know he's not the author of that. Then, Winifred Beach, them say them modernize it. I wonder if when them done, if the people now have access to it. Blue Lagoon, the mayor of Portland, known to be bad at math because him say he must take 100% every time the others take 50%. However, you add that something wrong. Yeah, without the R missing. Has said that people is telling dopey story. Well, there's court action that went through the court, and if not for a technicality, a judge would have to ventilate the issue. Right? What I mean by ventilate? Well, he's saying it's double story, but here's what we know. A parish council road is being obstructed by a security company that nobody knows who pay. So I'm still getting the training from Mr. Rattigan because it's only him alone putting access to information and get answers. But not even my two councils in the parish council can tell me who authorized the blocking of parish council road because you cannot sell the road. No matter how much money Mr. Adam Stewart has and all the other rich people in the surrounding. And even if you buy the land, you cannot buy the Blue Lagoon. And so they attempt to disenfranchise the men who could make $100,000 a day. That's how Blue Lagoon nice. Just Google Blue Lagoon and return to the Blue Lagoon. Watch those two movies and you see the aspect of the property in Portland that is being taken from the people. Look and understand that movies such as James Bond and all of this, Portland them shoot these things and you're taking it from the people. Now all the people in Prospect that run up and down and flout party lines. See your vote and your MP is not doing anything while they take the land from you right there in Prospect. So Prospect Beach gone. So yeah, I am bringing the heat because your health, let's talk about health. No hospital no there at Portland. No hospital no there at Port Antonio that can take care of you without you being airlifted to you and all of that. And that needs to be upgraded because of where it is situated. And yes, the roads must be commensurate to the emergency when you're getting access to the hospital. So we need to rethink what health services look like. And doctors are striking because they won't pay them. That's a government thing. Yeah. Somebody say a hospital. You mean type A hospital? We're not talking about B service. The people of Portland are them now walk around as B class citizens and C class citizens. We're talking about its geographical location demands a hospital commensurate to what Mr. Christopher Thompson has undertaken. But anyway, that's the health. What about agriculture? Well, let me tell you something. The farmers of Portland who were able, remember, the people of Portland, them not suffer from malnutrition. At a minimum, no matter how you pour them, that is why they take the water from them. Because them own a lane a plant, them produce and can't hungry in a life. So you take from them. And the same thing, you make sure say the road them no look a certain way. And this is 5 years in. But even before that, make no mistake, the government of the day has been in there 9 years. So resources is at the hands of government. So 9 years of oppression. Just know that. And yeah, in 2025, a Portland, me live, so me can tell you, when I just got there, the water did salt right from Sansan, go right up to Ferry Hill and all. Salt water come through the pipe. But you see, through me, top class, water for fresh. I have to ask that. Do that and beat me. I can ask the people of Portland. Before me, the water did salt. Don't talk. And so just making it clear. That's the EH. And the E is the education. So it look like me did I say hot rather than heat. Let's talk about the education. I'm doing the tablet drive. Yes, it's a $45 million project. And yes, we've gone 15 million of the 45 because 1,000 tablets have been out. Happy to say that it's beg it and the diaspora has not disappointed. And Geotech and all the other people who provided tablets of a different ilk, we were doing it. At my tablet drive, where the leader of opposition, Mark Golding, showed up. Much respect to him, the next prime minister, and the people of Portland who came and supported. And the dreams of the raft captains came true. A day at a hotel for eat and drink and be merry. And still have up everybody who never put out the money to auction me because, yo, I used to be an ugly you. But you understand? All right, those people on Reggae Global Radio, I want to say see you next week. It was beautiful having you guys. All right, so that's gone. But still, as we continue on TikTok and YouTube, and there you have it. With the tablet drive is there. That's education. We're trying to ensure that the households have doctors and lawyers. So, and I say it lightly, here we just complain about the doctors. We want the doctors who live at Portland to be in Portland, working in a first class hospital, so that the people of St. Mary can come there. All the people from Stony Hill can drive real quick to Portland. If them don't want to go to UE, cause the road them nice. No so? No carp it. So them say, but just get the point that I'm saying, that access to certain type of services. So we want our children to be educated. And that is why the tablet drive is there and the people supported the diaspora, the people who was a part of the stream, Coda Network, all the artists who showed up, Yakster, Silk Boss, the boss himself, Quada, Kipridge, yeah? Everything so saucy. The icon boss himself. I'm telling you, George Nooks, man, that voice, him, man, is timeless, ageless. And he came right there and supported the cause. Big youth, never fails. One thing about my father, although him gonna always outdress me. Once me said dad's, him dead it. So just understand that. Optimus Prime. Don't believe, don't believe the hype. Um, Hello, may I conclude my show here? Soon come. All right, give me a second. Yeah. Just know that all the artists that was there to make the event an excellent event. Shout out to those who participated in the auction, not the ones who didn't purchase. And you know what I'm saying. Have an up for that. But and we are going to continue and trying and ensuring that when we think about case is to be the agricultural university in the entire Caribbean. And we're talking about from water solution, farming solution, fishing solution, the ecosystem of the both the ocean and land, and how to incorporate. So we want people from all over the Caribbean to come to Case. So we want to have a first class university. We want it to be subsumed into Who is saying why? Uptown, I don't even know what Optimus Prime is doing right now. Anyway, we want somebody said the food looked delicious. A partner draw kitchen in, the food was excellent. No, 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 no. No mistake where that is concerned. But yeah, these are things that we want for the future. So that's the health. Then we have the education. Then we talk about the agriculture. Notice the education through case is mixed with the agriculture, but we want our students. Um, Somebody said buying votes for tablets. Now, G Roy, tablet. So when they truck water to the communities, that's not buying votes. And when they fix the roads, that's not buying votes. The tablets are for the kids, and kids don't vote. Not one person at the age of 18 gets a tablet. So tell me how that works. Anyway, you want to disenfranchise kids so they can be dunce like you, but we are way, way moving ahead. We don't see people like you. There's no space and context matters for people who don't have their minds open to be educated. I won't I won't block you because I want you to learn something because I can tell your aptitude is low, right? Yeah, but you have to address the done so they understand. He comes on as a bad mind person because he doesn't want children to have tablets because he wants them to be poor. He doesn't want Jamaican children to progress. And all the people across Jamaica that has been anti the tablet drive is because they don't want the children to progress through education. I am aware of that because the MP said, rub out your hand middle. He said nothing is wrong with that. And I'm saying replace the rubbing out hand middle to edge with a tablet and educate. Replace the concept of having guns with a tablet. But anyway, all I'm going to say is the vision that I have for Portland is why we bring in the heat. Because the T is tourism. It could be technology too, but it's tourism. Because we have to have the conversation. So when somebody says, but why the Prime Minister of St. Vincent? Well, I was honored to sit with him on Context Matters and have conversations and learn about the Federation, learn about the Caribbean, learn about why CARICOM is important, learn why neighboring islands should be seen as a part of Jamaica, like how Jamaica should be seen a part of them. So employment solutions and the ability to integrate in freedom of movement across the Caribbean is important because it may very, very well mean that it's the sustainable and the viability of our independent and our sovereign nation is also dependent on our relationship with our Caribbean brothers and sisters. So yeah, we must understand why it is important to have that type of relationship and why it's important to have the conversations because in Jamaica, all across the island, we are the only Caribbean island in the entire Caribbean, Spanish and English speaking, that don't have access to our beaches. And so when I see the very conversations about Portland, Eastern at that, and how they have taken the spaces away from the people. All of the landmarks, all of the beauty of Portland is for the people of Jamaica, whether you live there or not. And when you go to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the beaches are beautiful right around the island, both of them, and you have ferries from one side to Beckway to this to that. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And seeing the beauty and access to beaches is important. So we have to have the conversation with competent people because if you never experience freedom, you have to have conversations with the people who create freedom for their people. So when you see people talk and have the great respect for a Mia Motley and a great respect for Ralph Gonzalez, who are the pioneering force when it comes to advocacy for the Caribbean in the world, and their islands are smaller than Jamaica, but they're doing so much better than Jamaica. So just understand that this is important, and I'm urging all the people in Portland, if you have the opportunity, come to the public forum to learn about why your parish is situated and why it is so important, and why it is important to have competent representation um, for Parliament to be the driving force of the eco development of Portland. The development that includes ensuring that the environment is preserved. Even when a revisitation or revisiting of how they have compartmentalized, I'm going to use that, um, fishing sanctuaries, and how persons are being disenfranchised to make a living. So, you know, all I want to say is never forget, when we think of tourism, you see, maroon culture is a rich heritage, and come out because the Sterling is going to be there, and he and just dealing with um I, I think, yeah, the maroons will be there, the culture will be on display, right? And I want people to understand that. Make no mistake, because I hear the conversation, and it's just because I don't descend into the arena of dunceness. So you will never hear me on a platform um behaving like I'm a big dunce and spit ad hominem. I'm not gonna do it. But make no mistake, your next Prime Minister, Mark Golding, as white as he is, has more respect for the people of Jamaica and love for the black people of Jamaica than the current Prime Minister will ever have. Because even him, I convince he doesn't love himself. Yeah? He smells more than he knows. And I'm just going to make that clear. And a protection of the people, the heritage, and the indigenous culture, the richness of what Nani has offered and why she's on the money. Listen to me, man. No, don't leave me with the oink oink. I have said all that I need to say today. Come out on March 9th, because the Prime Minister, a comrade, a general, a world boss himself, is coming to Jamaica, coming to Portland Eastern to have conversations with the business community, the teachers, the doctors, the lawyers, the farmers, the people of Portland. You are all so important to me, Isaac Buchanan, and to how we are to bring Portland into 2025 and beyond. Yes? So, having said that, yes, it's going to be held at the Kenwright, um, the Kenwright Marina, the Kenwright Pier. And just come out, you will not regret it. And my people, I do this for you. Everything I do for the people of Jamaica. Every decision I make in law is out of respect for the Constitution, and ensure that long after I'm gone, the decisions will be to advance the country. And if we get our representatives and our leaders to understand that they're mere servants of the people and are put there to make decisions that even sometimes the people themselves are not there to make, then you will understand. So I'm not going to keep you guys anymore. And I was late today, and I apologize for that. Yes, it's at the Errol Flynn. It's at the Errol Flynn Marina, but it's the Kenwright Pier, which is on that property. Um, So no, I never. The Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez, Prime Minister Mia Matley, attorneys at law, senior counsels to me that can advise me and give me guidance in terms of the way forward. Senior counsels, attorneys at law, similar to Mark Golding, is the importance of having a leader that has legal competence, that has gone through the rigorous training of law is important. But I won't say any further but to say thank you for listening. Thank the diaspora to continue to support the GoFundMe, the tablet drive. We'll never we have made strides in terms of providing more tablets. We will finalize and announce what the amount is in terms of acquiring more tablets, and we will continue with the tablet drive. I'm also pleased to see that my sister there in St. Anne, Danishka Williams, has started to issue tablets because she has also seen the value of ensuring that children come into the technological age. It's a very expensive feat. It's not bun and cheese. It's not rum and boom. It is a device in the hands of children can change Jamaica, and I am passionate about that. And children are so much more important than the old adage saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks, even though you're never too old to learn. But yeah, what that's under my nose. We are there, but I won't go over the time that certainly I have allotted because I have so much more to do. Thank you guys for always there are 1,262 people here. I really appreciate that you were here to spend time with me. See you guys next week and next month.
It took some time to understand, yeah, just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn something to make a better way. Growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see, it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving, moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. gotta keep your head up, yeah. Cause everything's gonna be alright.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up.
Cause everything's gonna be alright.
Cause everything's gonna be alright.